Welcome back, you lovely people. Today's video, I want to focus on Bitcoin and Ethereum. But before we get into it, a couple of shout outs. Number one, Uniswap V3 live interface looks similar, but a little bit tidier, sexier, and great to see the continued innovation in this space. I'm sure this, the biggest decentralized exchange, having such a massive upgrade is going to be one of the drivers for the rest of the bull market. So we love to see that. And just on a slight tangent, but because we have covered on this channel before, shout out to gold and silver who are making moves, both looking at big breakouts. They've been consolidating since last summer. Gold's now coming into a really, really important trend line. 1.65% for gold today is a big move for gold. If we take out that trend line, we're definitely looking back over 2000 into the all-time high. And silver also making moves up 3.5% today, looking to take out this trend line that we have in here that we're moving into at the moment. Take that out, and again, we can start looking towards the all-time high at $30 and beyond. So well done to anyone in gold and silver positions. If you've been patient, I'm sure that patience will be rewarded. Now, let's go to crypto. Let's talk about Bitcoin. Bitcoin is flat, has been down a little bit for most of the day, and now just coming back to about even $57,500. In fact, now we've just gone positive. We are still consolidating under our range of $58,000 to $59,000, and we've now, I'm going to say we've gone sideways pretty much from 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, depending on how you measure it, at least a week, maybe a bit more. We are consolidating. And is this what we expect? Is this normal? Well, having a look back over at 2017, and approximately around this time, which I've shown you on the halving tracker, so I won't do it again. Let me clean these up. There we go. So this is the dip, the mid-cycle dip that we had in 2017. Remember, I've said so many times, I can't even count, expect a long mid-cycle correction, whether that's 4 weeks, 5 weeks, 6 weeks. This is what happened in 2017. We've had our dip, we've had our bounce. Many people, and I've added it in as a scenario, expect us to just blast straight through and straight back to the all-time high. But I've been warning about this long correction. It was 34 days last time. So we have had our dip, and now we're consolidating sideways. So where are we? Are we somewhere in here? Do we still have 2 to 3 weeks left? Do we still have this capitulation to take place? Well, time will tell, but we have been preparing ourselves for it for a long time. If it does happen, and if it does happen, we may head down to somewhere around $45,000 to $40,000. Let's just head back to today. If that does take place, we have our lines in. Let's see what it would look like. 45,000 would be a 30% correction, which would be completely normal for the bull market. And last time we had that 38% correction, which would take us down to $40,000. And we definitely have some support around there as well. So if we do have that capitulation, that will, the first big sign will be if we break this trend line, then we definitely have our eyes set on those sorts of areas. But certainly no surprise that we are consolidating sideways, even though lots of people are calling for something to happen very quickly. We've been saying for a while that in the last cycle we had this 5-week consolidation and correction, and so far from the top to where we are now has been 3 weeks. So do we have 2 weeks left, 2.5 weeks left, or do we resume upwards from here? Everything's on the table, but it's certainly looking very, very similar to 2017 at the moment. Something that is slightly different to 2017 is Ethereum. Let's just talk about the Ethereum price today for a second. So we're up 2%, taking out the all-time high again at $3,600. The chart certainly looks very bullish because we took out this trend line that's been in since the beginning of the year, came back to retest it, and now we're making higher highs. So this looks incredibly bullish for Ethereum right now. Of course, we have no levels above us as we are at an all-time high. But what's interesting is Ethereum versus Bitcoin. If we zoom out and we're looking over here at 2017. 2017, we had the massive increase in Ethereum versus Bitcoin mid-cycle. This is what we've also been talking about with the Bitcoin dominance. And when that topped out, that was the beginning of Bitcoin outperforming Ethereum and the whole market through to the Bitcoin peak. And then altcoins pumped again after that, which we'll talk about later date. So what have we done so far this cycle? Well, we've definitely had a big increase in Ethereum versus Bitcoin, but it's certainly not on a par with what happened in the last cycle. So from the breakout in the last cycle to the peak, it was 978%. And we're nowhere near that. We could call the breakout probably from there. We're at 160%. Does that mean we have a 8x return Ethereum versus Bitcoin over the next few weeks? I don't think that we'll get that. The reason for that is Ethereum was essentially just out the gates here. It was very, very small crypto. As we know, those small cryptos can move very, very quickly. This was Ethereum establishing itself in the market. And this peaked out around the 10th of June. And just heading back to our Bitcoin chart, worth looking at where we were on the 10th of June on Bitcoin. Excuse the scrolling, here we go. Where are we? Here we go. So on the 10th of June, it was around the time when Bitcoin peaked and we had our correction. So we believe we've gone past that. We're about here in relative terms in 2021, but we haven't peaked out obviously on Ethereum versus Bitcoin because we're continuing to make higher highs. So there's a slight difference there. It is not entirely surprising given that Ethereum has been lagging. So it's not just because it's more established and bigger now. Remember, we also had all of the bearishness around Ethereum with the high gas fees and scaling issues, which are now mostly being resolved, or there is certainly a roadmap in place to resolve them. So people are a lot more bullish, the market is a lot more bullish on Ethereum. So it looks like it's got some catching up to do, and it looks like it doesn't want to top out yet. And Bitcoin doesn't want to start outperforming Ethereum yet. And yet is the operative word, because as I have been covering in the past videos, I do expect that to happen. Exactly when that happens, nobody can say. I certainly can't tell you an exact date. But what sort of price action are we looking for? Well, we've certainly been going pretty vertical over the past few weeks. I mean, this does look extremely, extremely vertical. But as we can see in 2017, that can go on for a long time. Can go on for a long time. So from when it went vertical, which we could probably call here, that was the 16th of May, and this was the middle of June, so it was about a month. And so far from here, that was the 29th of March, and now we are on the 6th of May. So it's also been a month or a month and a bit. So it is at the moment, I think that we just have to watch and wait, because it's impossible to say where this top is going to be. You can see that we have clear resistance in here at 0.07, and I've drawn a circle around it. This is a key level I'm watching. It provided resistance here, support here, and resistance over here. So it's now a case of looking at these levels. If we do break through that one, we probably, or we definitely have one in here. Turn that red. And at one of these levels, whether it's there, impossible to say, then we do expect that to turn over and Bitcoin to start outperforming Ethereum. And that probably comes, or potentially comes, when Bitcoin makes her decision, whether she's going to go to an all-time high or capitulate to the downside. That's what makes most sense to me at the moment. And we don't know when that's going to be. So we just have to watch the market, try not to place our opinion on the market, and try not to chase the market too much, especially when we're in this in moments like this where we could go up or down or left or right. Not left, but we can go right. So I hope that gives some clarity. We'll continue to track it. We're looking at those key levels on Ethereum versus Bitcoin. We're looking certainly at the key levels here on Bitcoin and Bitcoin to make a decision. And as we get those answers, then I'll certainly be here communicating them to the best of my ability. So thank you so much for tuning in and for supporting. It really, really, really means a lot. And for liking these videos and for sharing them with anybody that you think could benefit. And I will catch up with you tomorrow.